Welcome to the Great Food, Great Stories podcast on Portland Culinary Radio. I'm Stephen Chalma, your host, and this morning we are talking toast. It's an awesome event that happens every year toward the end of February. Got a lot of people here talking about it. Let's start off with Ted. Good morning, Ted. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great, Steve. Thank you.
So not only are you the president of the Oregon Distillers Guild, but you also make the magic happen at Big Bottle Distilling.
Yeah, Big Bottom. Yes, we started Big Bottom about 2010, so I've been doing it for a couple years now.
And you started out with whiskey. Now you do a lot of other cool stuff.
We do complete line. We have rum, gin, brandy, and we're currently distilling up our single malt and laying it down. So we're hoping that will get released sometime in the near future.
I'm ready for that. I love your whiskey. I love actually all your stuff. I've had it many times. I've been lucky to do that. So tell me about the Oregon Distillers Guild.
So the Oregon Distillers Guild is actually the country's first distillers guild. We were founded in 2008. We've been in a model for the rest of the country to follow. Now there's a lot of other guilds. We unofficially roll up to a larger organization that helps us out with legislative stuff in D.C., which is good, like the reduction of the federal excise tax on distilleries. So we do a lot of things at a local level as well, especially down in Salem. So we try to enact change to make things better for distillers. We currently have around 36 members right now. And we have a board that is comprised of different zones as well. So we get representation from across the state that influences our desires and wants from Salem and Milwaukee.
Yeah, we're very lucky in Portland. We've got, and Oregon, we've got a lot of great craft beer. We have great artisan chocolate. We've got magnificent cheese across the state. Coffee is phenomenal. Just finished my book on coffee. We've got wine. And then craft distilling is just a growing thing with lots and lots of distillers coming on here in Portland and across the state.
Yeah, it really is. It was funny. I was doing some numbers comparison 2014 and 2017, and mainly breaking it down by county to see which counties have the biggest growth. It was Lane County actually has had the biggest growth. They have now taken the number 2 spot in the state for the most number of distilled spirit plants, with Washington County behind that, Multnomah being the first. Oddly enough, Multnomah County has had a very minimal increase since 2014. So I think a lot of the distillers are realizing that going outside of Portland is not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people all over the state that will drink it, and doesn't matter if your stuff's made in Eugene or Astoria, we'll drink it here in Portland.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're here to talk about Toast. Toast is a fun event. I've been to it a number of times. Absolutely love it. Had a great time last year. So for those who don't know, tell us, what is Toast?
So Toast is the Oregon Artisan Spirits Tasting. It was originally started by the Oregon Distillers Guild. Ryan Chonky, who is now with Aria Gin, actually is the one who started it 7 years ago. And we've continued to up what we offer each year. So it's really an experience for someone to come in and experience all these great distilled spirits. So we'll have over 40 distilleries there. We'll have 5 different food tables there, which is wonderful. So you have a chance to actually eat while you're doing this. We have 2 bars there as well. And then some odd little entertainment throughout the evening in the form of me entertaining you over the microphone. So that will always be interesting. But we try to make Toast more of an experience because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So we want you to come, enjoy the spirits. You get a chance to talk to the distillers, talk to the people actually doing it. You get to talk to the restaurants that are going to be there, and you'll be talking primarily to the chefs that actually make it. So it's a really good way to get to understand the spirits industry from the distiller perspective, eat some great food, but then as a kind of a bonus add-on, we actually have what I like to consider the ancillary providers to spirits. And we get pretty tight with this one. We only like people there that we know bring quality as a quality add to our products. So I'm really happy to see Improper Goods going to be there, which we're going to talk to Genevieve in a minute. Sage and Sea Farms, which does a drinking vinegar.
She does a great job. I love what she does.
Yeah. Portland Soda Works, which would be a nice add to it. Bradley's Tonics, which is out of Seattle. Bradley's is always there, and he does a really good product, which goes well with my gin, by the way. And then in Terabang Vermouth, I'm really excited about having him back again this year. I think makes one of the best vermouths just around in general. So these accompaniments that are going to be there for the spirits, you taste the spirits, you eat some food, you buy some product, you buy some accompaniments to go with it, you go home, you can make some great cocktails, and that's the idea behind it.
So in the craft beer world, there are craft beer fans like me, and then there's the craft beer geeks that really know the stuff. And the thing that I like about Toast, for example, I had a great time last year. What I recommend people do, I don't care if you're like a craft distilling geek or just a fan like me, you show up, you walk around 3 or 4 and 5, 6 tables, get little taste samples, meet people, visit, then get some food, then some more visiting, and then another bite of food, and just make, I think I spent 4 hours there last year and just had a fantastic time. And I ran into stuff that I just never expected. I ran into the guys from Elixir, and I had their Irish liqueur, which is a thing made in Florence, Italy. I have a friend who owns Barasco. Used to be a food cart, now it's a restaurant. He came from Florence to Portland and be able to, I didn't even know Irish liqueur existed. And so to be able to discover that and find it and enjoy it and get some and take it and share it with my friends at Barasco, that's the cool thing I like about it is there's a lot of stuff that I know, but then there's always some new awesome thing that I come across.
Yeah, and I think that's what we want you to discover because there's a lot of things that aren't in wide distribution that will show up at Toast. There's a high probability I might bring some Wild Bill, which is a product that we have that we never let out of the tasting room, but I always like to bring something special to Toast. I know Vin is going to be there with their whiskey, and I can't talk enough about it because I like it. I think it's really good. But it's got limited distribution, so you get a chance to try these small things that you may never have had before, and then you can go to somewhere like OregonLiquorSearch.com and try to find it at your local liquor store. So it's a win-win all around.
So there'll be gin. People like gin. There'll be gin there.
Oh yeah, we're going to have there's going to be pretty much everything that you can think of that can legally get made in the United States. Oddly enough, we'll even have tequila there. Larry from Pilot House Spirits should have his with him.
And he's out in Astoria.
Pilot House Distilling, I believe. Sorry, I said his name. He's out in Astoria. You're going to see a lot of whiskey there. Bull Run released their single malt a couple months ago. They'll be there with that. I know that Brad from Oregon Spirit Distillers, I am hoping he will have his bottled and bond whiskeys there because they're fabulous. I had a chance to taste them all when I was down in Bend a couple weeks ago. So we're really looking forward to seeing whiskey highlighted. And I liked your how you did Toast last year, Steve. It was very important. I think people need to drink responsible, pace themselves throughout the evening. I always suggest start with the light spirits first, and then kind of end with the whiskeys so you don't completely ruin your palate. And some of the really unique products save until last because you want to have a clean palate as much as you can throughout the entire evening and enjoy yourself and have fun. But there'll be a lot of nice surprises, I think, embedded in the long list of distilleries that will be there. Well,
and then there's the people that are there, part of the distillery that you can meet and talk to. That's the fun part I like, is you get to know their stories.
Yeah, you can. There's a lot of events out there where you have someone else pouring your product, and that's fine if you're there just to consume. But if you really want to come there to learn and talk to how things are made, this is the event for you.
Yep, I agree completely. Well, Ted, thank you for joining us on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast. I love what you do. I'm excited for Toast this year. Every year happens at the end of February.
Yep.
So if someone's listening to this podcast and it's 2019, just get yourself to Toast, get a ticket. I recommend people get the VIP tickets. I did that last year. It's a magnificent experience. You have a great glass. Last year I had a great glass. Every year you have really cool glass. And just spend 3 or 4 hours, make an evening of it. Go with some friends, go with a loved one, and just walk around, enjoy yourself, and find good stuff you like, buy it, and take it home. Right on. That's my suggestion.
That's the best suggestion in the world. And tickets are available if you go to OregonDistilleryTrail.com. That's where you can find information on the Guild as well as Toast and as well as our sponsors.
And then just wanted to mention before you take off the restaurants, we've got the waiting room, and they'll be on in just a second. Got Bouquet Bowl, Smokehouse Tavern. So you have a lot. You've got 5 total. Those are 3 of them. These are some really good food.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the food. Smokehouse Tavern as well, Proletariat Butcher, Verdigras, Waiting Room, Bouquet Bowl. I will spend a large majority of the time walking around eating.
I think that's the way to do it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, Genevieve, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Okay, so talk to me about Improper Goods.
So Improper Goods is the parent company for the Bitter Housewife cocktail bitters and Raff syrups. That's what most people will see on the shelves, the brands that are out there in the wild. And we make all natural cocktail ingredients. We support all those awesome distillers in letting people make really great cocktails at home and with great flavors and make it simple.
Okay, so talk to me about bitter housewives. Now you do bitters. For those that don't know, what's a bitter? Why would I want one of those?
Bitters are the spice rack of cocktail making. A few dashes, and you're able to really blend flavors, balance out the sweet, sour, and strong of a cocktail, and just give more interest and depth to whatever it is you're making. They also work great in mocktails, too.
Good for people that don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
They can spice
Yeah.
up their soda and have a much better experience.
Exactly.
All right. So what are some of the bitters that you do?
We started with a classic aromatic. Old Fashions are my favorite cocktail, and I was on a mission to make the perfect bitters for an old fashioned. So those are still available. There are old-fashioned aromatic bitters, but from there we went on to cardamom and grapefruit, orange. We have a barrel-aged version, lime bitters, and there's more in the works too.
So if I got the cardamom and I wanted to make my own cocktail at home, what would I do? What should I do with the cardamom, for example? Because cardamom sounds really cool.
Yeah, it is our most popular flavor, and I think it's because it's so versatile. One of our personal favorites is a gin cocktail. We also use the Raft citrus rosemary syrup. And the few dashes of the cardamom bitters, shot of gin, and soda water, and we call that the Backyard Collins. It's refreshing, but not too sweet, and just has really fun, interesting flavors with the rosemary and the cardamom. But you can also make like a mezcal old-fashioned, or even just spice up your classic Manhattan and make it a little bit different.
So my friends Nick and Karina own Of Roots and Blooms, and they take melon, like cantaloupe, and they will put cardamom salt on the melon.
Ooh.
And I could have that, and then your what you call it, the Backyard Collins.
Yeah,
that
sounds great.
Some gin and some a bitter housewife cardamom. That sounds fantastic. And then you said a
Yeah.
little rosemary from Raft.
The citrus rosemary syrup from Raft, yeah.
All of that together.
Yep.
That sounds okay. Good. That's a perfect afternoon for me right
Yeah,
there. Maybe
yeah.
a little prosciutto, and I'm a happy man.
We're ready for summer.
Yeah, bring it on. I am ready. Okay, and then talk to me about Raft syrups.
So Raft syrups, they are all natural, mostly organic ingredients, syrups that are great for both sodas and cocktails. Really strong concentrated flavors, so you don't have to use a lot, so you're not getting a lot of sugar. But we have everything from the botanical line, which is your more complex, like the citrus rosemary, a smoked tea vanilla, hibiscus lavender. And then we also have another line that is the essentials. Those are your bar basics. We make a grenadine, an orgeat, a simple, and a straight up ginger. And those are just your one note, but they're really your workhorse syrups.
So if I'm doing a home bar, I just get these bar basics, and I've got what I need to put stuff together.
Yeah, exactly. And they are available around town. We send a ton of folks to Hollywood Liquor, one of the best stores, and they've got everything on the shelf for you.
Now, I know that there's a cool pre-prohibition cocktail you guys are championing.
Yes.
That's attorney's privilege, is that right?
Yeah, attorney privilege. We make an orgeat, which is an almond syrup that if people are familiar with, they think of with tiki cocktails, like a Mai Tai has a orgeat. But we wanted to do something a little different, so we dusted off the books and did a little digging, and we found Attorney Privilege, which is a really simple but so tasty cocktail, even for folks who don't like bourbon. It is a half ounce of the orgeat syrup, an ounce and a half to 2 ounces of bourbon, and just a few dashes of our Bull Run barrel-aged bitters. Stir it in a mixing glass to get it nice and cold. You want to water it down just a little bit with the melted ice, and then serve it up in a coupe, and it's creamy and sweet and rich and just really easy to drink.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, so that's your essentials, your bar basics.
Uh-huh.
And we talked about something to do with the Bitter Housewife bitters.
Yeah.
But Raft syrup, if I'm going to make a cocktail, give me one suggestion. If I'm going to get some Raft syrup.
Good question. There's so many ways you can go. Right now, I think because we're still in the gray, cold winter, I think of the smoky old-fashioned. The smoked tea vanilla is a lot of fun to play with.
So that's one of your syrups.
Yeah, it's one of our syrups. We make it with Lapsang Souchong tea that we get from Jasmine Pearl Tea, just another local company.
I'm looking at them right now,
Yeah,
right out the
right
window
out
here.
the window. And we add a little fair trade vanilla that we found, this really awesome rich vanilla from La Faza, organic sugar, and it's this rich, smoky, on its own with soda water, it almost tastes like a cocktail on its own. But you add that with a little bourbon and a few dashes of either the aromatic or the barrel-aged bitters, and you've got a perfect old-fashioned, smoky old-fashioned. I also use it in hot buttered rums. I make the batter with the smoked tea vanilla and a little of the cardamom bitters, and put that on top of your hot water and your rum, and that's an awesome warm drink for a cold day.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, so is there a summer one that I could do with a raft syrup that you like?
Yeah. Our hibiscus lavender is a great summer one. It's just bright and a little bit floral. It pairs really well with our grapefruit bitters to make like a hibiscus margarita. Or again with the cardamom bitters to do what we call the sun hat in a shot of vodka in a nice tall glass with lots of ice and soda water.
Okay, so it'd be vodka, ice, soda water, the hibiscus.
The hibiscus lavender syrup, and then a few dashes of the cardamom bitters.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that works. That dog will hunt. That sounds fantastic. And then you're going to be at Toast.
We will be at Toast. We'll have everything there for folks to taste on its own, and we'll be making a few fun things to drink to show you how everything works together too.
And then people can buy stuff and take it home, and then you'll equip them to make their own fun couple favorite cocktails at home.
We will. That's what we love to do.
Excellent.
Give people their favorite pairs.
And I love the name Improper Goods.
Yeah, it's it fit. It just kind of came to us, you know.
All right. Well, Genevieve, thank you so much for joining us on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast.
Great to be here. Thanks a lot.
Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. Stephen, how are you?
Very good. I am such a huge fan of Vin Distilling. I love what you guys do. So for those that don't know, tell us what Vin Distilling is. What do you guys do?
Vin Distillery, we are a distillery that makes all of our spirits from rice. We make it all from scratch, so we get all of our rice all from Northern California, and it's a family business, so it's my siblings and our mom. We all work together to make all the spirits that we produce today.
Okay, and what are the four spirits that you guys do currently?
We started off with Baijiu. Baijiu is pronounced like say goodbye to a guy named Joe.
Like, bye, Joe.
Yep, bye, Joe. And it is our family recipe. We've been making that for over 7 generations. Our dad is one who started the distillery, and he wanted to make Baijiu because it was the missing piece in the liquor stores. We couldn't get it to make cocktails, so that's his inspiration for making Baijiu and bringing it to the market.
So can I give, since I'm a fan of Baijiu, can I give my little commercial for it and you tell me if I'm correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So if you've never heard of Baijiu, you have to try it, you have to get it. If you've been to China, you've had it, because if you go, this is a bit of a stereotype, but kind of true. If you go to Jamaica, you're going to have rum. If you go to Mexico, you're going to have tequila. If you go to Russia, you're going to have vodka. If you go to China, you're going to have Baijiu.
Correct.
It's a standalone spirit on its own. It's not like any of those other things, but that's the main drink that they drink there. Kind of the same way, I mean, of course, people drink other things in Jamaica than rum, but they drink a lot of rum there. People drink other things than tequila in Mexico, but they drink tequila there, and Baijiu is the spirit there.
Yep, Baijiu in China, there are over thousands of distilleries that makes it, but in the U.S., we're the only ones that produce and bottle it.
And you do it right here in the Portland Metro, right? In our own backyard.
Yes.
I love me some Baijiu. Okay, so that's good. And there's a lot of really good cocktails that you can make with it, but probably my favorite is the Beijing Mule.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it's just a Moscow Mule where I said, switch that out and give me some Baijiu in there.
Yeah.
And okay, so what else? So you've got Baijiu, and what else?
And we made a vodka. The vodka is rice-based. It's a lighter kind of creamy vanilla vodka. It actually has a flavor and has an aroma. We dialed back the filtration so that we can leave some of that in there. Mixed for a great cocktail. It's subtle enough to know that it's Vin vodka, but it blends in so well with the cocktails. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and then what's next?
And then we created a whiskey. It was all by accident. It was our sister had purchased a couple of baby barrels at a garage sale, and she had just finished distilling some Baijiu. So she took that and poured it into the barrel, sat for a year. And one day when we were all working together, she said, hey, sample this. And so we all tasted. We're like, wow, what is this? And she goes, it's our Baijiu in the barrel. And we found out that it was rice is recognized as a grain, so it's technically now a rice whiskey.
That's
so that
phenomenal.
sounds
Is
great.
that's a thing, rice whiskey?
Yeah, we didn't know it was a thing 3 years ago when we first started it, and so it was a definitely different venture for us. And then as we created the product, we found out that there were other rice whiskeys out there, primarily from Asia,
Yep.
probably from Japan and from Laos or Cambodia or Thailand in that area. Yeah.
And I have that. I've had your whiskey, and it's very, very good.
Oh, thank you.
Very smooth. Okay, and what's the fourth liqueur that you do, or spirit that you do?
We do a blackberry liqueur for those folks with sweet tooth. So we use our rice vodka as a base, and then we source Oregon blackberries, 100% of it. Yeah, here.
Excellent. That is fantastic. All right, and you're going to be at Toast.
Yes. Yes.
And you'll be sampling these things, making a couple really good cocktails, and telling the By Joe story, telling the Vin story.
Yes, definitely.
And speaking of the Vin story, you're also a guest on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast, where we talk about the whole Vin story. So if someone wants to hear more, they can tune into that episode and check it out.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. Thank you much for joining us, Michelle. All right. So there's going to be 5 really cool restaurants at Toast providing food and cool stuff. We're going to, the waiting room is going to be there. Kyle and Tom with the waiting room are here. So what are you guys going to provide us for food at Toast?
We're serving up some Navor shellfish oysters, and a little bit of our cornmeal hush puppies.
Ooh.
And then we're also frying up some of chicken oysters.
So what the heck is a chicken oyster?
Chicken oyster, it's pretty much right in between the chicken thigh and where it connects to the backbone. There's only 2 per chicken. It's roughly the shape of an oyster, but coming from the thigh, it's very tender, fatty meat.
So how will you prepare that?
We're gonna fry it like our chicken, so you get a little taste of chicken.
Oh, that's fantastic. That sounds amazing. Okay, so oysters, chicken, and cornmeal hush puppies. So now, can I just stay and buy stuff all day long at the table? Is that probably what I'll just end up doing?
Oh yeah, just come in and snacking.
And this will be your guys' first time doing Toast.
It is.
So this will be great for people to kind of get to know about the waiting room and have some good food. They can go have some samples, get a cocktail, come have a hush puppy, go get some more sample of the cocktail, come back and have a chicken oyster, then repeat the process and finish off with an actual oyster.
Exactly. I mean, enjoy some of the local spirits and have some local food as well.
And speaking of your guys' story, you guys were also a guest on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast. So if people want to know what's the waiting room? How did this restaurant come to be? Where actually did Kyle go to high school? They can listen to that episode and find out. Why did Tom choose food over music? Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm really excited for Toast. It's a great event. Happens every year toward the end of February. The Oregon Distiller Guild's the tasting event where they're going to have 40 different distillers, 5 restaurants, a number of cool stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers, everyone.